Hello everyone, my name is Ajax and today we're going to be talking about crosshairs because I frequently get the question, what is the best crosshair in Valorant? And the answer is of course, this one right here. That's a little ridiculous. No one crosshair is going to fit every single person. I often see players try to mimic a pro's crosshair, when in all probability, very little of that pro's skill comes from their crosshair choice. However, there is a formula that you can use to find a crosshair that is the best fit for you, and that is the topic of today's video. When picking a crosshair, you will want to consider two factors. The first is focus and the second is visibility. Focus is kind of like that old saying, if you're always looking for a red car, it's easy to notice one. You can use your crosshair as a tool to notice certain things and therefore to react to them more quickly. And this primarily has to do with crosshair size. A smaller crosshair like this one demands that you use more of your attention into looking at the center of your screen to try to figure out where the crosshair is and keep an eye on it at all times. And this is going to help with small, precise aim. This is good for players who might have difficulty hitting headshots and can help supplement that by directing their focus in a way that's going to help them. However, one of the drawbacks to this kind of crosshair is that against similar looking materials that are around it, it can be easy to lose the crosshair. This is not at all a problem for its counterpart, the big crosshair. The big crosshair is good for players who want to be able to keep an eye on their peripherals while still knowing where their crosshair is in the center of the screen, and may be best for players who frequently miss opponents who are at the edges of their vision, but don't have any trouble hitting precise headshots regardless of how large their crosshair is. You can always, of course, find a balance between these two as well. There are a bunch of different zooms of focus that you can use. Try to play around with it and see which one works the best for you. Now, the other part of the formula is visibility. Typically, you want your crosshair to be able to indicate the center of your screen for you, but at the same time, you don't want the crosshair to block the angle so that you can't see what you're trying to aim at. So, for example, this crosshair right here with a very, very tight inner line offset is going to make it difficult to hold a pixel angle like this, because when the opponent's head moves out, you'll be slower to react since you can't see it immediately because your crosshair is covering that angle entirely. However, if you have a crosshair that is much too large, it's going to be very difficult to tell where the exact center of your screen is. And so finding a balance between these two things so that you can always see an angle, but at the same time, you are able to see where your crosshair is the entire time and where the center of your screen is as well, is going to be optimal in order to ensure that you get the best of both worlds there. So that's really all there is to the formula of finding a crosshair that is the best fit for you. Deciding exactly where you want to land on each of those two criteria is going to depend on what your playstyle is, what you're trying to do, what range you're often playing at, and what your strengths and weaknesses are as a player. So for example, my crosshair is small because I focus on precision when I'm aiming, especially with crosshair placement. This helps me keep in mind crosshair placement. In terms of visibility, I prefer a crosshair that typically has a closer gap because I like to know exactly where the center of my screen is, and because I don't really aim through my crosshair to get shots, I typically just use it as an indicator for where the center of my screen is rather than as something to actually aim through. I hope this helps you find a crosshair that works for you, and I hope you found some value in this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Best of luck and have a great day.